I'm chasing all of the colors in my head. I wanna be alive. I'm living high. I'm living
And guess what else?
What can I tell you? It's just another Saturday on the reef. Clownfish had 6 birthday parties, back to back. He was killing it as usual. No pun intended. At 2:02, he called in for the location of his next gig.
Encore! Encore! Please don't ever come back!
I was just getting back from my lunch break, so I remember the time.
Coral Court? That's halfway across the reef, Betty.
You're due there in 13 minutes, so stop whining and start swimming.
When I get picked up by the aquarium, I'm gonna forget this miserable job ever existed.
Yeah.
No more bad jokes, no more crying little shrimp, no more...
And then the line went dead. He was a pain in the dorsal, but he didn't deserve to die.
So, the question before us is, who did this evil deed?
Who knows? There must be 1,000 different species on this reef.
And they're all suspects. Which one of you killed the clownfish?
Billy.
Listen, landlubbers, if you think every creature in the sea is a suspect, you'll never solve this case. Let me show you how things work down here and knock down your list. For starters, some species kill and some species don't. Some species are friends and some are enemies.
Which means we're looking for a species that killed and is an enemy of the clownfish.
Oh,
I got your suspect.
well, that was suspiciously easy.
There it is, one of the sneakiest killers in the sea.
All I see is that plant.
It's not a plant, it's a sea anemone. An animal disguised as a plant, which my poor uncle found out the hard way just last week, may he rest in peace. Those tasty-looking stalks are actually tentacles that sting and kill.
Looks like it's time to pay a little visit to Mr.
Anemone. I'm right here. I heard every word you said. Sure, I killed your uncle. That's what I do. But the clownfish? No way. I'm innocent.
Prove it, money. Once a killer, always a killer.
Well, looky here. Another clownfish. Am I killing it? No.
Yeah, I got a thick mucus coat that protects me from the stings. And guess what else? Right now, I'm rubbing anemone mucus into my coat so it stops even trying to sting me. It thinks I'm part of it.
And why would I sting myself?
So the anemone protects me, and in exchange, I'll give it scraps of my food.
Sharing is caring.
So the clownfish and the anemone actually help each other and work together?
Our relationship is mutually beneficial, and we're not the only partners in the sea either. There's a jellyfish that floats upside down up near the surface, allowing algae that grows on it to get sunlight and make food, which it shares with the jellyfish. Now, I would never have imagined those two together. The hermit crab, which can't form a protective shell of its own, hides inside the hard shell of a dead triton.
Speaking of weird pairs that work, ever tried prunes on a cracker?
And you've got a partner too, don't you? Blue streak wrasse?
Well, maybe. Okay, yes.
Oh, do tell.
The lizardfish carries around a lot of pesky parasites that I love, and it hates. So I lure it over and eat the parasites off it. I tickle as I nibble, so the lizardfish always comes back for more.
Overshare.
So, wrasse and lizardfish are partners too.
And what of it? That has nothing to do with who killed the clownfish.
Hey. Oh, I think I've got a real suspect for you. Right over there. The butterfly fish.
It may be beautiful, but if there's one thing I've learned so far, looks can be deceiving.
Oh, you've got that right, squirrel.
Yum, yum, yum.
Sure. Most of the time, the butterfly fish grazes on plants like algae. but every now and then it gets a taste for meat, which in this case is my poor cousin. Oh!
What? I was hungry.
But I thought the anemone stings.
Oh, it does, but I'm immune to it. Just like the clownfish. Which I suppose is why the clownfish hates me so much. Whenever I go for the anemone, if there's a clownfish around, it attacks me.
It's protecting me because I protect it. Some say that's politics, but I call it biology.
All I know is the clownfish is getting in the way of my dinner.
So the clownfish and the butterfly fish are fighting each other, which makes them
competitors. And it's not just us either. All over the reef, animals fighting over food and territory, attacking and protecting. Ghost crabs and hermit crabs compete for dead fish. When they wash up on land, the ghost crab usually wins. But when they sink underwater, they're a feast for the hermit. Male cuttlefish try to scare each other from females by changing the way they look. When sponges find a spot to anchor on the reef, they emit toxic chemicals to keep other sponges from settling down too close. Sure, I compete with the clownfish, but I didn't kill it. Now, if we're done here, I've got more eating to do.
the clownfish's partner didn't kill it, and its competitor didn't kill it either.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't another creature after all. Water's gotten warmer this year. Some coral on the reef can't survive the high temperatures. The clownfish lays eggs in the coral, lives in the coral, and eats the stuff that grows on the coral.
So, without coral, maybe the clownfish couldn't survive.
Exactly. Changes in the environment can affect living stuff too.
Actually, according to my parents, it has gotten harder to live where the coral is dying, but not impossible.
And then you say the clownfish died suddenly?
Okay, fine. But there's other stuff in the environment too. The amount of salt in the water, how much sunlight hits the reef from above.
None of that's changed, Ras. Are you trying to distract us?
So we're back to where we started. Which one of you?
What was that?
An eel, otherwise known as a predator. And the sea is full of them. Usually the predator's lots bigger than their prey, so one shark can kill hundreds of tiny fish in a single bite.
Hang on. Sometimes the predator's smaller than the prey. Ever heard of that evil little blue striped fang, Blenny? It has the nerve to imitate me to attract my partner, the lizardfish. But instead of cleaning its coat, it rips out lizardfish's flesh.
Speaking of which, isn't the lizardfish a predator itself?
Stop it right there, an enemy.
Lizardfish? A predator?
Burying itself inside the sand to hide and wait for prey.
Which, according to my parents, includes smaller fish like me, the clownfish.
Lies. Lies. All lies.
Okay, lizardfish, where were you at 2:02 this afternoon?
I'm taking the fifth.
He was getting his parasites eaten off. By me!
But you said you just come back from your lunch break, which means your lunch break was over.
Okay then. I think we know who killed the clownfish.
He was getting his parasites eaten off. By me!
But you said you just come back from your lunch break, which means your lunch break was over.
Okay then. I think we know who killed the clownfish.
He was getting his parasites eaten off. By me!
But you said you just come back from your lunch break, which means your lunch break was over.
Okay then. I think we know who killed the clownfish.